Buford Spring connector is closed right now, so anybody that might use I-85 or the Buford Spring connector to try to go between Buckhead, northern DeKalb County, Midtown, and downtown Atlanta, not going to be happening for a while here, at least using I-85 and the Buford Spring connector. So you're going to expect massive delays, especially on 85 North and on 85 South coming down from the Spaghetti Junction area, on 85 North trying to get up out of downtown right now. So Peachtree is really your best alternate to try to get north and south between the Chamblee area, anywhere north DeKalb, and on in towards Midtown and downtown Atlanta. There's really no other way to do it right now. Of course, Buford Highway, not a good alternate because it turns into the Buford Spring connector and it's closed, so you're not going to be able to get down through there.
Right, and of course Piedmont. A lot of people immediately think if you can't get down Peachtree, we'll just turn down Piedmont. No. You can't do that because you're going to get to this area and you're going to be stopped because that smoke is the flames and the smoke everywhere. We're getting another vantage point here. We have a live camera looking at the fire department using water or possibly foam to try to put out the flames there, and it appears to be aimed under 85. Again, we don't know exactly what is here and what is burning.
Oh, there they are. And the firefighters you see, the crews, and this is why they are our best in our community in a lot of ways. They are right there in the hell of it, so to speak, fighting this fire, burning underneath the connector, the Buford Spring connector. If you're just joining us, we are going to stay with this special edition of Channel 2 Action News at 6 because of the breaking news in Midtown Atlanta. As you are looking at the Buford Spring connector, an intense fire under the flyover there of the Buford Spring connector as it goes over some of that industrial buildings, office buildings, and then some of those businesses along Piedmont Road, as that highly congested area sort of all comes together when you move out of Buckhead into Midtown Atlanta. A fire station right there, a concrete supply company right there, the Hero Vehicle Unit Storage area right there, MARTA rail yard right there as well. A lot of activity and businesses in this area with this thick black smoke that's been burning since we've been covering this at least about the last 20 minutes.
All right. That's right. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Jovita Moore.
I'm Justin Farmer.
And we are staying with you to continue our coverage of this breaking news, a huge fire happening right now, what appears to be underneath I-85 northbound in Midtown Atlanta, right near Piedmont Road and also adjacent to the Buford Spring connector. You are looking at live pictures from one of our photographers who is as close as he can possibly get right now, and it appears that something is on fire under I-85. This happened within the hour. We know that traffic is stopped on the northbound lanes of 85. Cars have been turning around trying to get away from this. This has been burning for a while. What we saw initially, flames licking up on the sides of I-85 northbound. It was incredible video that we're going to show you again, but right now we're taking live pictures of what's happening here as Atlanta firefighters try to put out whatever is burning underneath I-85.
I'll tell you, it does look like the intensity of the black smoke has diminished somewhat as we have seen firefighters underneath, right in the middle of it, trying to get a hold of what's happening. But I got to tell you, a fire that burns like this, there has got to be some sort of petroleum thing going on underneath there. We don't know. Was this a tanker? Right. We just don't know, you guys. We don't know if this was a tanker that hit something. But those kinds of flames like that.
Right. We do know, just from driving by and observing as many times as we have on this roadway, that it appears that there are materials sometimes stored underneath the bridge. We don't know if that's DOT stuff. We don't know if that's a private company. We know that there's a Hero unit lot there under 85 as well. So there are different areas under the bridge that are used for different things, or we don't even know if this is trash or arson or what's happening here. We are waiting and working to get all of those answers right now. But in the meantime, we want to show you video that we've been getting in from some of our coworkers who were going home when they spotted this, and also our photographers out in the field right now trying to get the best vantage point that they can to show you what's happening here. We can tell you 85 northbound is shut down. You pretty much can't get past probably 17th Street.
That's right.
If at all. So you should probably detour. If you know anyone traveling northbound on the connector right now, tell them they cannot come up 85. You cannot access 400 from 85 right now.
And you all, Jason, you may want to talk about plans for the next several days. Fortunately, we have a Friday tomorrow and then the weekend for DOT to do their work. But Jason, we could be looking at some significant downtime for this roadway.
Well, I will say that usually in cases like this, it doesn't take days for them to do an inspection after there's a fire. It's usually a number of hours.
Okay.
So once they get this fire out and crews are able to actually get up onto the bridge, get up under the bridge and do that inspection, then they'll do it rather quickly to get this open. Of course, this is a main artery through Atlanta, and not just through Atlanta, but you know, I-85 runs a good distance, so down into Alabama and up through South Carolina. So, you know, this will be a road that they want to get back open as fast as possible, so they will work quickly to try to do that. But like I said, until the fire is out and heat has dissipated from under there, they won't be able to get up under there and do any of that inspection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we do know that there's going to have to be an inspection at some point before this road is deemed okay. So we heard from one viewer already who was sitting there somewhere just south of this fire. He was traveling north, and he's just sitting in his car waiting. Some cars are able to turn around, some are not. Some people are getting out. We're told that, of course, folks are taking plenty of pictures. We want you to tag us on it if you are there on 85, so we can see your point of view as well. But we know that folks are going to be stuck there for a while, and traffic is probably a mess building up through downtown Atlanta right now, heading north on 85. Here are more live pictures from one of our photographers there on the ground, and you see the firefighters working, trying to get whatever they can to try to put out this fire that is still burning under I-85. Take a look at those flames. Intense fire right now.
You can, by the way, if you're watching this at home and you have friends who are out and about, they can watch this on the WSB-TV app. We're streaming this live clearly. So if you've got someone who is stuck, who wants to understand what's happening, send them a text or something and tell them that they can get the WSB-TV app and they can watch this breaking news coverage right now, because we're going to stay with this until we have a better understanding about what is burning at I-85 in Atlanta near Piedmont Road.
We're also told from one of our social media producers that she saw a median wall explode near the fire. A median wall. I'm not exactly sure where this median wall, which one she's talking about, but she saw a median wall explode there, probably just from the intensity of the fire that's burning. We're going to get more information on that. We have several reporters and photographers heading to this area right now. Likely you can't travel north or south on Piedmont Road after a certain point. My guess is maybe you can't get past Cheshire Bridge, and you probably can't get past Lindbergh. That area, anywhere near 85 and where 85 runs over Piedmont Road, that is going to be shut down at least. So folks are going to have to start taking alternative routes right now. Channel 2's Jason Durden is live above the scene in News Chopper 2. Jason? Okay, so Jason is still there around the scene. We're going to get back to him as soon as we can get some audio from him. But look at this. This is a live picture right now. And look at the intensity of the flame.
This is massive.
Okay. All right.
Definitely massive. Jason, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear y'all. If you got me fine. Obviously, we've just had I-85 has collapsed here.
What?
A portion of the interstate has fallen in because of these flames. You can see here where it's gone. It's just flat right on down to the ground there. So this is going to be a massive problem for a long time to come now. I-85, the northbound lanes have just collapsed down onto the ground because of the flames from this fire. It looked
Someone actually has the button push, please. I need to listen to Jason.
Can we not
when
hear
this
Jason
section
anymore?
of I-85 just fell and collapsed.
Do we have a phoner, I understand now, with Jonathan, who has been working at MARTA? I'm sorry, producer? Okay, we'll get back to Jonathan Matthews, a MARTA employee, observing this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, just seconds ago, a portion of I-85 collapsed.
You can see from our live pictures here, it's gone. It has collapsed. Look at that hole in the roadway. This just happened. We have been following this in the past hour. Incredible fire burning under I-85, and a section of the span of that bridge has just collapsed. Channel 2's Aaron Diamond is also on the ground near the scene. Aaron, tell us where you are and what you see from there.
Well, we're right at Piedmont. You can see right at the right where it crosses under I-85. You can see the flames still shooting out. You can see all these Atlanta Fire Rescue Department equipment. This is a very, very serious and dangerous situation going on right now. That's happening in front of hundreds of people who are just gawking. We've seen countless emergency vehicles racing by. As you saw from News Chopper 2, a portion of Interstate 85 has collapsed. We didn't know from our vantage point what those booms were just a minute ago when we heard it. But clearly, this is still a very serious and very dangerous situation going on here. We are going to try. Yes, Justin, go ahead.
Aaron, I'm very concerned about something. A moment ago, here on our TV station, we were showing a live look, as we've been staying with this for 30 minutes now or whatever. And we showed a live look as firefighters were battling the heart of this fire, if you will, underneath 85. So we are praying that they were not under the portion that collapsed. Tell me what you are seeing, sir, with first responders and whatnot.
Well, Justin, you can see the mass. There's a mass of first responders in here. I haven't seen any ambulances, but we're still trying to keep a safe distance here. We haven't ventured too much closer. I don't know at this point if there were any first responders underneath that bridge battling the fire from there when that portion of 85 collapsed. Now, keep in mind that these fire departments, all of them, have some very specific training as it relates to fires of this magnitude, different hazards, different structures, and different outcomes if possible. The last thing these firefighters are going to do is remain in a situation where they are in imminent danger. Now, we're again hoping and praying that those battling this fire here on underneath 85 are all safe. But from our vantage point, we haven't seen any ambulances yet, but this is all still, Justin, just unfolding where we are.
Sure. All right, Aaron, I know you're going to try to do your job and gather every piece of information you can. Are we going to Channel 2's Wendy Corona?
Justin, I'm just getting this information here from our news desk that we're getting quite a few people who are calling in who have gotten a visual as to what is underneath this section of I-85 that is on fire. They're saying it is PVC piping that is what they're seeing under the bridge that is on fire. Apparently, some of that being stored in that area and may very well be what is causing this fire to just grow in intensity. Looking at the live picture here, though, that Jason Durden is providing from News Chopper 2, you can see that it appears that this fire is getting out. It is much less intense now, where you see that white smoke there. However, you still do see some of the flames underneath that section of I-85 where that collapse happened. Perhaps that was part of what maybe needed to happen to put this fire out. We don't know. But there you see the on the ground level as well of firefighters attacking this fire, which is underneath a section of the northbound lanes, or rather of the lanes of I-85. Of course, this is just what some people have been calling into the station. We've been hearing this quite a bit now, so we feel confident in telling it to you that we believe that there is PVC piping that is under that section of bridge that is on fire.
Thank you. Channel 2's Wendy Corona, as we have all hands on deck situation as a fire that started about 40 minutes ago, so intense, thickest black smoke you can imagine. The intensity of the heat created a collapse of this section of I-85 in Midtown Atlanta. Now, what we are seeing here, as you're looking live from News Chopper 2's camera and Jason Durden's reporting, you are seeing that this smoke has gone white, which is good. They're clearly getting a hold of this fire from the flames that were just so intense just a few moments ago. Jason?
I can tell you, Joe, while we effort to get Jason back, because we have so much going on right now, there was an audible gasp in our newsroom when we saw that picture of 85 with, as you see now, from the ground. Look at that, folks, where you see there is a span of the bridge that has collapsed. It has fallen because of the flames underneath that's been burning this fire for about an hour now. We know that there are Atlanta firefighters on the scene, and our newsroom is praying that there were no people under there at the time. I'm hoping that it was just too intense. They didn't get that far. But a part of a span of 85 has shut down. So this also means implications for weeks, not just days.
Across the southeast.
That's right, across the southeast. That's right. So, you know, tell your friends They're planning to come to town. They're not going to be able to travel on 85 North for a while. We are continuing to follow this breaking news. An interstate fire, I-85, in flames. We see firefighters now making a dent. The smoke is turning white there, so that's a good sign that the fire has been diminished somewhat, but we can still see flames from different vantage points. We have crews all around this area of Piedmont Road, not far from Cheshire Bridge, and also just south of Lindbergh Drive, where this fire has been burning under I-85 for about an hour now. Channel 2's Jason Durden is above the scene. Jason?
You know, as Wendy mentioned a few moments ago, it looks like, at least from my vantage point, that the bulk of the fire, the bulk of what was burning, whatever material that was on flames, on fire down there, was underneath this collapsed portion. So when this concrete slab of I-85 northbound let loose and hit the ground, it put that fire out. That's what it looks like from this vantage point. So what we see now is there's still some things burning under here. You can see that looks like some sort of pipes that are burning there. And then on the north side of it, still some of the ground burning as well there. But that's what it looks like, is that the bulk of that fire was underneath that portion of I-85 northbound that has collapsed. Now, what are we going to do about this traffic-wise? I-75 is going to take the bulk of this traffic. If you need to get from downtown Atlanta to the north side of town, you normally take 85. You'll be taking 75 now. That'll be the way to get up to I-285, because this is going to be closed, obviously, for a long time. It's just untold amount of time until the DOT can get out here and figure out what it's going to take to rebuild this and to get this back. So that's over the days to come that we'll find out about that. But for right now, folks, stay away from I-85 inside of the perimeter. Use I-75. You can use I-20 from the east side of town or from the west side of town. Take 285 all the way around to I-20 and use that to get into downtown Atlanta. Start looking at map books. Get online with mapping programs if this is your normal commute, and start figuring out, how am I going to get around this? Because this alternate that you pick is one that you're going to have to be using for some time to come.
I mean, you know, Jason, as you say that, we all try to comprehend this kind of major structure going down like that, and what will have to happen in terms of engineering and construction and an opening process. It's something that I cannot recall anything like this, an interstate collapsing via flames. I've never seen it.
You know, we said we started off. I'm sorry, Jason, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, over my 30-year career here covering traffic in Atlanta, I've seen plenty of massive bad fires that have been on the interstate and burned bridges above it, overpass bridges, but nothing like this where it's ever collapsed. And it was always, I remember one time a tanker truck up on 285 years back that caught fire, burned up under a bridge, and, you know, they were able to inspect the bridge and say, okay, this is fine, and get it open within a day or so. But obviously this is going to take a long time to try to get repaired and try to get back reopened. And it's something that even right now, I'm sure DOT engineers are starting to scramble and figure, okay, what is our first step going to be, and to try to remedy this situation. So really, though, until all this fire is out, all these hot spots are out, you can imagine how hot the concrete is just around here, even just from those flames that have been up underneath there. So it'll take them a while to figure this out, and then to actually get the work going, and then to get this reopened.
Jason, you're right. And, you know, we started off our coverage by saying that we had not seen a fire like this, just even the intensity of anything burning like this in a very long time. When we first brought you pictures about an hour ago, I mean, the thickness of the smoke and the huge flames that we could see licking up along the sides of the interstate, it was just incredible. So now we're looking, and it appears to be more white smoke, gray smoke. The thick black smoke we saw an hour ago is gone. We do still see some fire flames underneath that bridge where something is still burning right now. But a section of 85, what you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, that section of 85 has collapsed.
We're going to queue up two pieces of video now for our viewers. If you are just getting home and you are saying, where's World News Tonight? Well, this is what happened. About 30-some minutes ago, we went to this breaking news. Look at the intensity of the smoke and flames there. I-85 North, right through Midtown Atlanta, right at the Buford Connector, right near the MARTA Rail Yard, the Williams Concrete Place, Thompson's Concrete, I think, something like that. There's a concrete thing underneath the connector. And this smoke was happening. This is right where the hero units are, right there where Piedmont is, where the fire station is. And all of a sudden we saw this smoke just underneath and burning ferociously. And then just a few minutes ago, a portion of I-85 collapsed. Our editors are going to portion out that video, edit that piece of video, and cue it up for us as well. So we're going to show you the intensity of the flames right after we went live. And look at that, you all.
And this is video that we're looking at right after the collapse.
Okay.
So the theory that that span of the bridge fell onto whatever was burning down there, that could very well be the case. We see how it the fire kind of went down, almost like it was snuffed out a little bit, but then you see the flame still coming up around a section of the bridge that collapsed there probably just in the last 10 minutes or so. We have photographers all around this area. We have other crews heading to the area trying to bring you the best vantage points that we can get to safely right now. But this has just been incredible to watch. We've never seen anything like this. And of course now with a chunk of 85 gone, this has implications for weeks.
As we take a look at our Department of Transportation camera, and speaking of the Georgia Department of Transportation, our reporter Dave Huddleston was able to speak with a member of their staff, and Dave is reporting that they are saying, as you can imagine, the work they're doing, and here's what we have definitively. Either side of 85 is not going to be opening anytime soon. Spring break, everybody's getting out of town tomorrow, a lot of people, spring breakers tomorrow. As Jason has said repeatedly, and you're just going to keep hearing it, text your friends, come up with a plan, because you need to stay out of this part of Atlanta, including Peachtree, including Piedmont, all the little arteries. It's just going to be horrendous, and it already is congested, because 85 is going to be closed for some time.
And we do have to wonder, too, we're going to have to ask this question eventually, does this affect MARTA? You know, we want people to commute, and so there's also a MARTA line that runs right through there, so we have to figure out how this fire is going to affect them as well. We have dozens of people in our newsroom efforting all sorts of answers for all of these questions right now. We'll continue to bring you live coverage here on Channel 2 Action News. Now, DeKalb County's Public Information Officer, Captain Eric Jackson, is on the phone. Are you still there?
I sure am. Good evening to you.
Good evening, sir. What can you tell us from what you've been hearing and what you know about this sort of thing?
Well, I can tell you first off that, you know, so oftentimes we talk about complacency and folks kind of being creatures of habit and doing things the same old way every day. Well, this is that true test. We know, and as you and Justin have reported, I-85 is not only a main vein for those coming out of the north end of town, the Gwinnett area, but also for folks going south. And not just here in the Atlanta area, but in other states such as Alabama and so forth and so on. So folks really need to put their plan of action into play now. They need to start mapping out how they're going to get to work tomorrow, how they're going to get to work next week. So they need to start putting together what alternate routes they're going to take. Which way am I going to go? Because if you're thinking about going one particular way, chances are someone else is thinking about that same way.
Captain.
That's the kind of effect this fire is going to have on this interstate.
Yeah, for sure.
Captain, what can you tell us about your firefighting brothers? We know that some of them were underneath a portion of this at some point. Is everyone okay?
Well, as best that I've known, at this point, everyone is okay. And I have to say that my cohort, Sergeant Cortez, is quite busy. Cortez Stafford, PIO for the City of Atlanta, is very busy, so please bear with him as he tries to answer all you all's questions and give you the latest. But as we see right now, there are no firefighters that have been reportedly hurt at this point in time. I think it was a very strategic move on behalf of the command staff to keep those crews far enough away out of what's called the collapse zone. And this is why. We keep ourselves and our brother firefighters kept themselves back because of the potential for collapse. And as you saw right before your very eyes, that bridge literally fell down.
Captain, what must occur? What must occur? I mean, Javita and I have been doing this, I think, combined 50-some years. Jason Durden's been doing it 30 years. Captain, what must, and we haven't seen this, what occurs, what kind of intensity of a fire can take down an interstate?
Well, I tell you, add in my little 23 years of fire service experience, and I haven't seen anything like this either. What it takes is a massive amount of, obviously, intense heat. And not just intense heat, but intense heat that's continuously burning for a long period of time. You saw that this fire, and as it's still burning very hot right now, but that fire burned solid red-hot orange for well over 45 minutes. That's a lot of heat. That's a lot of stress that's being placed on this bridge, which is made of nothing more than concrete. Other than the rebar in it, it's concrete that was at one point a liquid. So before it hardened and made itself into and was formed to be an interstate or a roadway. So a lot of massive heat, continuously burning and weakening that structure to the point to where it just literally fell down. Thankfully, there were no firefighters that were around it close enough to have been affected by that collapse.
And Eric, let me ask you this. Can you talk about, does it matter if the firefighters that we are watching here, does it matter if they use water or foam? We don't know here in our newsroom yet what is really burning there, but from what you see in the intensity of the fire and the flames, does it make any difference if they use water or foam or what?
Sometimes it does. It's really a call that's made by command staff because they have to weigh a couple of things. If they use foam, you always have to worry about runoff and where that runoff is going to go. Is it going to go into a nearby creek bed or a river bed?
And there is a creek near here, too.
Absolutely. It's one that runs right up underneath that bridge. So they have to think about that, and they have to think about, will the effect of us applying this foam affect our firefighting efforts? Sometimes it's just good just to keep putting water on it, just to keep, again, to help keep the heat down. We know in some instances foam is used as a smothering agent to just literally take the foam, take the fire out. But it just really depends on the makeup and what's really burning. And again, with the command staff, they're able to make that better assessment and to determine there on the spot, do we need foam or do we need to just continue pumping a lot of water on this until we get a better handle on what's going on and what's burning.
And we can see in the bottom third of our screen, which is also covered by a graphic, but there are firefighters bringing out more hose right now. And there we are. We have another shot from the ground of firefighters moving a hose around, still trying to tackle the flames that continue here underneath I-85, right near the Buford Spring Connector and right near Piedmont Road. So you are looking at live pictures now from one of our crews there on the scene. It appears that they are putting water, and we've just heard Captain Jackson explain the differences and sort of the strategic reason for one or the other. But firefighters are working. As far as we know so far, we have no reports of any injuries. We don't know that anyone was under the bridge when it collapsed. We do know that traffic is horrible right now all through Buckhead and Midtown. So look for alternate routes or just don't leave your house or your work right now because you cannot travel that way. And you can't get to 400 from 85 northbound right now. The smoke has gotten whiter, so that's a good sign that the flames are being snuffed out somewhat. But the intensity of this flame, of this fire, the flames and the smoke that we've seen here over the past hour has really been incredible. And Captain Jackson, you know, Justin and I both said we've never seen anything like this in our coverage and here in Atlanta. I know you have been in some very hot situations before.
Yes, I've been in extremely hot situations, not just here, but also in my hometown of California. And this is really the first time that I've actually seen fire disable a major roadway to the point to make it impassable. I mean, as you can see, both northbound and southbound traffic has been stopped, including the access road. So not only are we witnessing the impact of folks just getting home, but we're also witnessing the impact of interstate commerce, and we're also witnessing our hardworking firefighters that we praise so much for the work that they do and them risking their lives to make sure that we stay safe. You're witnessing that all kind of within one live TV broadcast.
Captain.
And so, yes, sir.
You know, it's astounding to think of the training that people with your profession go through, because in essence, you have to be prepared for everything. Is this something specifically firefighters in a city like Atlanta are trained to handle, and that is a fire burning concrete on an interstate? Do y'all train for something this specific?
We don't train typically. I know with our department, with the CAP Fire Rescue, we don't train for firefighting, and I don't believe any department is trained specifically for concrete fires. However, we do train for longevity. We never know how long a fire is going to last. Now, that we do train for, so that's why we make it a point to make sure that our firefighters stay physically fit, they're well nutritioned, and that they know their jobs well, because we never know how long we may be on scene. Just like you all kind of in the newsroom, you never know how long you're going to need to be in a newscast reporting news, so you kind of have to prepare yourself. And so in the Fire Academy, we try to make sure that our firefighters get a wide variety of different scenarios that will test them to the point to where if we need to stay on a fire in an extended period of time, a couple of days, or several hours, or even a day or two, then our firefighters are up to the task.
Well, we certainly know that the Atlanta fire crews that we see here now will be here probably for most of this evening. We know that traffic is shut down. We have crews all around there. You see where Piedmont Road is now shut down right by the Goodwill, which is just south of Lindbergh Drive. Firefighters working all around this area underneath the bridge here, which is 85 northbound. And we have shown you this incredible video of the section of the bridge collapsing there. It looks like the fire's almost out. From our vantage point, where we're seeing from our crews that are there, our photographers close by, the smoke has dissipated greatly. We're not seeing the flames like we were seeing before. And so it looks like, likely because of that collapse there of the concrete, kind of snuffing out the flames underneath it, and then the firefighters have been able to knock down what was still around that section of roadway that collapsed. I want to ask our producers if any of our reporters can go live on the ground with what they're seeing.
I think we're ready for Alan Hand, Javita. So
okay.
Channel 2's Alan Hand, one of our senior photographers. Alan, you were right. Tell me what you saw tonight.
Well, Justin, let me back out of here a little bit and let me show you where I am. I am actually standing on 85 southbound, where I'm looking, and let me tell you, give you a perspective. This is the on-ramp right here from Piedmont Road to 85.
Right.
Jason Durden is absolutely correct. When that bridge right there that fell, it extinguished the fire, but it also puts the wall of fire to these firefighters that were down here on Piedmont Avenue. They backed up. I just confirmed with one of our fire officers here that no one sustained any injuries, but this was tremendous ball of fire up under this. I have been told also by a police officer that this is a business that is off of Piedmont and is back off the road of Piedmont. They thought at first there was a truck called in as a fire, but they're not so sure, and they think it was a lot of PVC pipe, I'm hearing, and combustibles. But it was a tremendous lot of booming going on when I got here, and all these firefighters down here, they were actually fighting the fire right up through those pillars right there against the guardrail. When this section of the bridge fell, Jason is totally right. It exterminated it. But it pushed a big wall of flames right out here. I think I have that if they can find it back at the station. But all the firefighters on Piedmont are okay, as you can tell right there as I pan over to them.
Well, Alan, that is fabulous news. One of our senior photographers, Alan Hand, on scene, right down underneath there. And Alan reporting, if you're just joining us here on Channel 2 Action News, we are staying on the air, World News Tonight. Preempted by our breaking news coverage of this interstate fire, collapsed a section of I-85 in Midtown Atlanta. And our photographer, Alan Hand, on scene here, you're looking through his camera with us. And Alan just reporting that according to one of the firefighters there doing their work, no firefighters have sustained injuries, which is a real blessing tonight, obviously, considering the intensity of this fire, and to have a structure of that size and weight to go down while they're in there doing their work. And Alan, we're just so to hear that no firefighters have been injured.
Right, but that is incredible, that eyewitness from Alan of a wall of fire that then was pushed out because of that section of the bridge of 85 collapsing onto the ground there. So firefighters are still working. We have Channel 2's Aaron Diamond also on the ground. We want to go to him now live. And Aaron, you can tell us what you see from where you are.
Well, Jovita, we've actually made it onto the loft of a apartment building, the roof of that loft. You can see we're about a football field's length from where that section of Interstate 85 has collapsed. It looks to be about a 50-foot, maybe more section of that, and it's probably an accurate assessment that Jason Durden and some of our colleagues have reported that when that deck collapsed, it snuffed out those huge flames that you had seen earlier. Now, Brian, if you want to pan over to the left there a little bit, you can see the still some very, very hot spots. We see firefighters now working to contain those. It appears as though the immediate danger from all of this is over, but it was a very, very busy, urgent, and I don't want to say chaotic, just a very busy and stressful scene for these firefighters out here earlier. Dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Now, Brian, if you want to just flip your camera around here, you can see this is I-85 heading back towards downtown. You're looking now southbound at 85. You can see how that all of the traffic has been turned back around, not getting anywhere, but that's how far back Interstate 85 has been shut down. Nothing even getting close to this site. And if you want to take a look back here, looking northbound, as far as you can see, really all the way in as the Buford connector approaches Sandy Marcus Boulevard, and as Interstate 85, you can see that ramp onto Georgia 400. Normally a very busy time right now, but obviously nothing getting through here. Again, back here at this collapse scene, you can see that it's, it's smoldering. The more water they add on it, clearly the more smoke and steam we're going to see. Firefighters are still keeping everybody at a very great distance away. We can see Piedmont traffic is stopped all the way back before Lindbergh. Now, I did just get off the phone about 5 minutes ago with a source of mine inside the Georgia Department of Transportation. She told me that right now state leaders are gathering inside the GDOT traffic center down on Confederate Avenue, where state leaders are now developing a game plan. Check out how big a deal this is. These guys just pulled up. These are the fire trucks from Hartsfield Jackson International Airport. So you can see that additional resources are being called in. This fire is out, but clearly it's hot out here. These guys, are working hard, and often in these situations, they ring several alarms, call fire crews from other stations. They call them up to assist. So we now have crews here from as far away as Hartsfield Jackson Airport coming in. So that really, again, taking another look at this deck, you can see how it just collapsed all the way through. As I was saying earlier, we know state leaders are meeting right now at the Georgia Emergency Management, as well as the Georgia Department of Transportation Traffic Center down on Confederate Avenue, working to develop a game plan as to what happens next. You've heard Jason Durden say it. Folks need to start breaking out those map books and get on their phones and try to find other ways to work, because we are told that there will be no traffic on this section of 85 in either direction anytime soon, guys. So we're live down here in Midtown. I'm Aaron Diamond, Channel 2 Action News.
Right, Aaron, thank you for that. I want to share with you all some information, the closest thing we could find in some quick research. So in Birmingham, Alabama, in 2002, we had an interstate collapse under the heat of flames. And our reporter, Liz Arts, digging up that it was closed, that section in Birmingham, for approximately 38 days. So imagine the congestion in your life. If you need this part of Atlanta, if you need this part of 85, if you're without that for 38 days. Now imagine what going down Piedmont's going to be like. Right,
yeah. It's going to be a mess for a while, folks. We have our photographer. You just heard from Alan Hand. He is there working hard on the scene of this fire and this collapse of I-85, and he has Atlanta's Fire Rescue Public Information Officer Cortez Stafford standing by with him right now. Alan, you want to ask the questions?
Yes, I will. Start off telling us what happened. What did you see when you arrived here?
Well, I saw it coming up the interstate. We had heavy fire. There were reports of a vehicle fire at this location. Obviously, that was not the case, or if there was, it turned into this. We don't know right now. It's really early into the investigation of what exactly happened. What I can tell you is we had heavy fire under the bridge that fire compromised the Interstate 85 and northbound, north and southbound. When we got on scene, we realized that there was a very good danger of this bridge collapsing, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So our incident command immediately stopped all the traffic going on the Buford Highway connector, north and southbound, and up on 85 north and southbound. So that's where we are right now. As you can see, the bridge did collapse. We're trying to prevent our guys from going up under there because there's a possibility the rest of the bridge could collapse. It's a little early into it right now to figure out exactly where we are at this point. We do have the fire under control. What exactly was burning, we still don't know at this point, but it was a large heavy fuel up under there that caused this fire and got up into the concrete, which caused spalling into the interstate. So that's where we are right now.
And from my understanding, you're not even sure where the fire originated. It's somewhere off of Piedmont, though, right off up under the bridge, right?
That's correct. We don't know exactly what happened. It's a little too early for us to try to get into speculation as to who, what, when, and where, and why this fire occurred. Our first response in emergency and what our responsibility is to make sure that we stop this traffic that was going over this bridge, and that this fire didn't spread any further than what it was when we got here. So that's where we are right now.
Now, when I arrived here, I could see a lot of fire up under there, and I saw your teams working right there on Piedmont. And Jason Jordan kind of made the analogy that the collapse of the bridge probably helped put out the fire. But I saw a wall of fire coming towards your guys. Are all your people safe?
All of our guys are okay. Once again, our command team made a decision. Once our guys were under the bridge and getting close to the bridge, they saw the concrete starting to deteriorate. They made a good command decision to pull our guys back. And sure enough, within a few seconds or a few minutes after that, a large chunk of this section fell down. And that cloud of fire that you saw was that pressure pushing all that fire out. So it may have contributed to some of the fuel and the fire being knocked down. So that's where we are right now.
And let me just reiterate, you still have concerns about this bridge?
Yeah, absolutely. It's too early to say it's safe. It's obviously not safe. Had some heavy heat up under there, which caused the bridge to be compromised. So that's where we are right now.
I heard some booms noises. What was?
I don't know what those are. Don't know what those were. But once again, we have everyone safe. All our guys are accounted for. Right now, the fire is under control. We're just trying to get out some hot spots and figure out what happened here. It's probably going to be a long night.
Needless to say, you're probably going to be out here all night and all morning, right?
We'll do what we got to do.
You're the best.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Channel 2's Alan Hand on the ground there with Atlanta Fire Department. Happy to report that the proper training, they felt that bridge could be compromised, that section of I-85. Of course, it was in dramatic fashion on live TV here on Channel 2, and the firefighters were cleared in time. They are safe. We don't know of any other reported injuries, but the inconvenience factor of this in one of America's largest cities, it's hard to overstate.
We have Channel 2's Wendy Corona standing by in our newsroom. And Wendy, I understand you've been able to get information from the governor's office.
That's right. Our Richard Elliott, who's been covering a lot of our political reporting, was able to relay to us in the newsroom that the governor's office has that it is in fact letting GDOT handle all of this. So this is going to fall under the GDOT umbrella per Governor Nathan Deal. Before getting that bit of information, I was on the phone with one of our photographers who was driving home that way. Of course, saw the flames, pulled over to the side and getting out. He's captured on video. He didn't realize that it was the actual freeway section that was collapsing down. At that point, the smoke was still so black. He said you could hear what sounded like an explosion. He said, and it wasn't until later that I hear that the bridge was collapsed that I realized that what I heard was that section of bridge coming down. So getting a lot of good firsthand accounts. From example, Alan Hand at one end of the fire there, another photographer of ours on another end getting video as well. So as we piece together, as the firefighters are also doing, just trying to figure out exactly what sparked this fire, what kept it burning for so long, and also learning the integrity of the rest of those pillars of the bridge that is holding up that section of freeway that is suspended. There's still so much more work to do here. Of course, the great news being hearing it from from Cortez Stafford there about how all of their men are accounted for and about how the command center was doing just right on top of what they needed to do when they were recognizing the signs of weakness there in the concrete and safety first for, of course, some of our finest.
That's right. Most important.
We need to mention a couple of things here. Channel 2's Richard Elliott is reporting that Governor Nathan Deal is expected to speak to reporters in just a little bit about the interstate fire. We also have a report from a colonel with Georgia State Patrol, Highway Patrol, that here's what's going to happen. Their job now is to try to reroute people, get them home, and keep people away from this area. Clearly, it's been compromised. And when you look at these images, folks, this is going to stick to the psyche of Atlantans the way Snowmageddon did, because there are going to be people stuck for hours tonight.
Yes.
And it's very stressful. It's taxing because physiologically, you know what happens when you sit that long, it's unhealthy. Emotionally, because people want to get home to their families. There are needs. It could be medical needs tonight. Yeah. This compromises first responders to get to, say, a woman in labor, or someone having a traumatic situation with their health, God forbid.
So we understand that troopers are out there trying to get people away from this scene however they can. So you definitely have to pack your patience right now, but try to work with them and do what makes sense right now. If it means turning your car around, let the other guy ahead of you go. I mean, this has got to happen so people can get off of this section of 85, those who were traveling north just before the flames and the smoke got too intense.
One of the things law enforcement does is they get these trucks. Now, what you're looking at, this is fascinating. This is the foam from the airport fire department. Hartsfield Jackson International Airport has its own dedicated fire squad. They're out here now. Can you imagine seeing these trucks traveling up the interstate, arriving to this scene, and they're using their specialized foam to put out the, not just the fire, but to stop all of the heat intensity to try to salvage what they can so that we have a minimal amount of construction time that is going to follow in the days and weeks ahead.
And I do want to add, too, that, of course, we've had reporters making calls to the Georgia Department of Transportation. You can imagine they are very busy right now, probably inundated with calls from the media, and not just in Georgia, but probably from around the region as well. We do have reporters trying to reach someone with the Georgia Department of Transportation. Speculation here, but it's probably going to be later on this evening before we get official word from them on what happened this and what's going to happen next, of course, in the days and the weeks ahead. So just know that we are working to talk with them. The governor's office now says that GDOT has to be the one to answer all the questions. So we have certainly put in our questions, our calls into them to reach them. Let's go back to Channel 2's Aaron Diamond. He's live there on the, well, actually, are you still on the rooftop, Aaron?
Yep, we're still on the rooftop, and I just want to come right off me. I mean, this is how close we are to where those fire units, the fire crews from Hartsfield Jackson International Airport are covering, just inundating that collapse site with foam, where that fire was so strong it literally collapsed the Interstate 85, that deck on it literally just collapsed under its own weight among that fire. Now, this is the foam that is usually reserved for plane crashes, for rapidly putting these very dangerous and hot fires out. Exponentially more effective in many cases than water, especially when you're dealing with chemicals. At this point, we don't know, and Atlanta fire crews still don't know what exactly is under that and what exactly was burning and caused all of this. But clearly, they're not leaving any tactic undone here. It is, I can tell you, I've been doing this job 20-something years, covered lots of fires, lots of big fires, and I have never once seen a fire department, an airport fire department, show up on a scene and spray a site like this with foam. They were here within 30, 40 minutes, and if you consider the distance between where we are right now at Interstate 85, right before the Georgia 400 ramp, and Hartsfield Jackson International Airport, the speed with which these guys geared up, got up here to to really help ensure that, you know, this fire is out and out for good. And I got to tell you, I mean, we can't say enough at this point about the job the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department has done here. They were here within minutes and spent a good portion of an hour knocking down this very, very dangerous fire. We do know that at this point, you heard a spokesperson for the fire department tell us that none of the firefighters were injured in any of this. It doesn't appear as though there were any injuries in this. So to all the first responders who were able to isolate this area, and then the fire department that came in and started knocking this fire down without, at this point, as we know of, any injuries to the public during a rush hour, any injuries to the firefighters under a dangerous scene. So you could just still, despite the effort from that foam, despite that foam, those airport fire crews doused on this thing, I mean, it's still smoldering. You can get just a sense of just how hot this is here. So this is going to be a very, very active scene for a very long time. I don't see fire crews and emergency personnel allowing anybody in this area anytime soon, Justin.
Channel 2's Aaron Diamond over the scene now, right there on top of this situation. We want to set the scene for everyone. If you just got home, flipped on your television and said, what in the world am I looking at? This is I-85, an interstate fire that started burning about an hour and 10 minutes ago, give or take 10 minutes. Channel 2 broke into this coverage about 6:40, and we are going now clearly all the way through World News Tonight, ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, as we cover this breaking news of an interstate fire, flames so intense, the chemicals burning so intensely that the section of I-85 deck collapsing under its own weight. There you see the flames in our video on the right side of your screen. Live is on the left side of your screen. We have the report straight from the Atlanta Fire Department. No firefighters injured and no other reported injuries. This happened right at the height of rush hour in an extremely congested part of Midtown Atlanta.
Right. So as you can imagine, people are stuck on 85. Those who were traveling northbound at the time, I think that maybe part of southbound 85 has been impacted as well. Traffic was moving through there at some point, but that may have stopped right now. The Buford Spring connector was still open. We're not sure if it is. I haven't been able to see if cars are driving northbound on the Buford Spring connector, but anyone who was traveling north on 85 about an hour ago, they are likely still stuck in this traffic. It is a mess out there. There are state troopers trying to reroute people as best they can, but there were folks who were pretty close to that scene. So here's a live picture right now, too, showing you the traffic there backed up on the interstate. So folks who were right near the scene, they're probably going to be there the longest. But state troopers are out there, and you see cars turning around. They're trying to divert traffic and get people out of this mess as best they can. But right now, you can't get on 400 North. You can't get to North Druid Hills even from 85. You're not going to get past probably 17th Street on 85 right now. So everyone has to look for alternate routes. And now that you see there, a section of 85 has collapsed. It's going to be a few weeks before this interstate, a major interstate in Georgia, and of course, the southeast region of the United States, it's going to be a while before that span is back up and that road is open.
Channel 2's Justin Wilfon now at the scene, ready to report. Justin.
Hey, Justin, we've been watching firefighters battle this large fire now for the past 45 minutes or so since we've been here. I'll step out of the way. We're about 100 yards, I would say, from where this fire has been burning and where that portion of I-85 collapsed, incredibly so, just a short time ago. I was able to walk up pretty close there to that collapsed portion just a few minutes ago, probably, frankly, closer than I should have been, and I could still feel the heat coming off of this fire. So even though we're seeing the white smoke and they're definitely making progress, there is still plenty of heat coming off of that fire. If we look the other way here, we're on the Buford connector. If we look down this way, you can see traffic has been pretty much cleared off the Buford connector at this point. As we were approaching the fire, people were actually turning around, going the wrong direction, coming back towards us as we were going towards the fire. But it appears, at least from our perspective, that most of those people have now made their way off the Buford connector. So we'll keep watching this here. We were watching that foam that the Atlanta fire crews from the airport actually were spraying on this fire, as Aaron Diamond mentioned just a short time ago, and that foam definitely helped make some continued progress here. But again, I was just up there, still plenty of heat coming from this fire, guys.
Hey, Justin, when you were making your way to the scene, I don't know if you were coming from our studios here at Channel 2 close by or what have you, was the coming and going being organized or choreographed by law enforcement?
Not at that point. Not at that point. It was still relatively early on in this process, so it was still very much chaotic. But now, in the past 45 minutes or so since we've been here, we've seen plenty of police and other officials arrive to help coordinate that. When you looked,
Justin, when you got close to the heat as you described it, did you sort of peer down and try to ascertain what was burning?
You know, I didn't want to get too close to firefighters as they were doing their jobs down there. Obviously, they have a big, dangerous job at hand, so I wasn't able to see down in there, and really no one here on the scene has been able to tell us exactly what has been burning down there, but whatever it was, obviously it wasn't good.
Well, we will let Channel 2's Justin Wilfon continue to do his work and talk to folks and get what information he can, and we'll get back to Justin.
So 2 things you need to know right now. A section of I-85 near Piedmont Road has collapsed, and we've learned that all Atlanta firefighters are okay and accounted for. And 3, traffic is horrible right now. We want to go to Channel 2's Jason Durden. He is live above all of this in News Chopper 2. Jason, anything you can tell us right now about how folks can maneuver?
Well, stay away. That's the best advice that I can give right now. So what we're looking at, this is I-85 north and southbound, as well as the Buford Spring connector north and southbound. It's where it crosses over Piedmont. That's Piedmont Road right there that heads between Buckhead and Midtown. So this is that strip of I-85 and the Buford Spring connector. All of it shut down right now. You cannot get north or south on either of those roadways. So let's look southbound right now. This is traffic on 85 northbound. I don't know how, but they have somehow managed to get all these people turned around and headed back southbound in the northbound lanes. Now, this bit of traffic, which is a lot of cars right there, what they're doing, they're getting them down here to this Buford Spring connector ramp. So you see they're just taking them across this little grassy patch here. They're putting them onto the Buford Spring connector northbound ramp, but they're not able, of course, to travel all the way up back onto I-85 with it. They're being forced to travel and exit off onto the Monroe exit here. So that's what that traffic's being forced to do. If that traffic is stuck there, they will end up having to get off onto the Monroe Piedmont ramp here off of the Buford Spring connector northbound. Now, let's look a little bit further towards downtown Atlanta, and you can see that there's southbound traffic in the northbound lanes here. So what they've done is they shut this traffic off on the connector northbound. At some point on the connector north, you just can't go any further. They're going to be diverting all that traffic off. And they've done the same thing with the southbound traffic as well. Let me swing around here as News Chopper 2 pilot Brennan Bass kind of swings the helicopter around as well. What they've done here, they've cleared all this traffic out that was stuck here. This is North Druid Hills that we're looking at right here. Nobody coming past there. So traffic on 85 southbound is blocked north of Claremont Road. So you can't get any past the Shallowford-Claremont Road area. All this traffic that was here that was bunched up, they did manage to let them get south and to get onto the 400 northbound ramp. So that's what that traffic has done. This is Buford Highway that we're looking at here. It is not a good alternate. Peachtree Road right now, Roswell Road, that's going to be your alternate to try to get north and south right now between Midtown and downtown Atlanta. You can also, of course, use I-75, and it'll get you between Midtown and downtown Atlanta. I can tell you traffic on 75 over the days and weeks to come, though, is going to be extra heavy. Another good alternate is using I-20. You can take 285 on the north side of town, take it east or west, it doesn't matter. You're going to hit I-20 on one side of the town, either in DeKalb County or over in southwest Atlanta, and then you can use I-20 to get into downtown Atlanta. And as I mentioned before, if your daily commute takes you up I-85 north and southbound, look at the map books.
Right.
Look at Google Maps online. Get on there and find yourself an alternate. You're not going to want to just wait till tomorrow morning and get out and go, okay, well, which way do I go now? Download the Waze app. That'll help you out a lot as well, because a lot of these alternates are going to be taking people through neighborhoods, through lesser-known streets that they might not be all that familiar with. So they're going to have to kind of get themselves familiar with it. So start studying tonight.
I would.
Look at those maps and figure out, how am I going to get home, or how am I going to get to work? Because obviously 85 northbound will be not usable for weeks. Now, we don't know right now how long it'll be before 85 southbound can get reopened. They'll obviously have to do some serious inspection on that to see if it can withstand the amount of traffic that goes over it. And that's really the same with the Buford Spring connector here, because part of that is elevated as well, and the flames are licking up on that side of it. So we'll just have to wait for the DOT to see, you know, how long they're going to be able to have to keep those lanes closed. But obviously the big thing will be 85 northbound trying to get out of downtown Atlanta. It'll be 75 and it'll be I-20 and 285 that really takes the brunt of that alternate traffic.
And Jason, I'm glad you said it. Peachtree Road is not an option right now. Of course, that is packed, and people think that they can just hop on Peachtree to get where they want to go, but everyone who was on 85 is trying to hop on Peachtree to get where they wanted to go. So thank you so much, Jason. We ask that you stand by and stay with us. We are bringing you extensive team coverage of this breaking news in Midtown Atlanta. Right now, it's turned into the collapse of a section of I-85.
Traffic is as bad as it's been. You remember Snowmageddon? This is hands down the worst traffic situation to grip our city since Snowmageddon. People have been turned around on the interstate. We've got a section of I-85 that's full-blown collapse. We've had the fire department from Hartsfield Jackson International come up with their foam trucks. The first time I've ever seen that in this city. I'm from here. This has not happened before that I'm aware of, that they would leave the airport property like this to put it on an interstate fire. The city is going to be different, you guys, for some time, because first they've got to get everybody out of here cleaned up tonight. And then starts the Department of Transportation, all the structural engineering work that has to happen, all of the cleanup that has to happen, and reconstruction.
And in case you missed it, if you weren't watching us during Channel 2 Action News at 6, you missed that video that we had when we first spotted this huge smoke and flames coming out from under I-85. You're looking at a live picture now, but that video from earlier was impressive. So here is another look at this. Just around 6 o'clock, that is what we first saw, and we knew something was horribly wrong there on I-85. So traffic has been stopped all around this area, right near the Buford Spring connector, right above Piedmont Road. And so firefighters have been there. They have put out as much of the flames as possible. And of course, once that section of 85 collapsed, that pretty much snuffed out most of the flames, and firefighters then still had to deal with what was happening around the periphery of that huge chunk of concrete. We have reporters all over this area. We've been bringing you live shots as often and as quickly as we could. Right now, we have Channel 2's Aaron Diamond. He is standing by on the rooftop of a nearby building located there on Piedmont Road. And Aaron, what can you tell us from where you are and what you've been able to see?
Well, Jovita, here's what I'm seeing right now. You can see crews from the Hartsfield Jackson International Airport fire teams over there dousing this scene with another round of foam that they normally would use for things like plane crashes. This foam is designed, and they're using it to suppress, really, what may be hot spots left on this fire. This has been an unbelievable scene. We've been showing you those pictures all for the last hour plus now. These incredible, incredible flames that burned so hot that it literally melted the concrete and the supports, where you can see that about 50, maybe better, foot section of Interstate 85 has just collapsed under that heat, under its own weight. The only upside to that collapse is it quickly really extinguished whatever it was that was burning under it. Now, some challenges that are going to be coming up. You know, first priority, obviously, is making sure the fire is out and making sure that everybody is safe. The fire is nearly out, and we're told that there are no injuries among the firefighters or any member of the public. But some challenges, because soon this investigation is going to have to start. What caught fire, how it caught fire, what all of those answers, or many of those answers, will be under the tons and tons of concrete that fell below onto whatever it was that's burning. So while this is, this section is nearing a close as far as actually getting the fire out, I mean, we've still got a long way to go on this. And just, obviously, the fact that they got a big section of the roads missing, so that's going to cause challenges. We do know that state leaders with Georgia Department of Transportation, Emergency Management, federal, state, and local partners, as they call them, are going to be meeting really within minutes at the Georgia Department of Transportation's traffic center that's down on Confederate Avenue near the Georgia Emergency Management Agency, where they're going to be developing a game plan. I mean, you've heard, Justin, we've heard you say many times in all your years reporting in this city, all my ears and everyone else's, we really haven't seen anything like this in our area. So this is new for us. I mean, there are other ways around this area, but we know how traffic can get on Interstate 85, especially during rush hour times, a critical artery between downtown Atlanta and the suburbs. But also Interstate 85, as you know, a critical north-south connector. Lots of interstate traffic, trucks and passengers, just cars, millions every single week, go through here. So, I mean, this is just going, we're just getting to the beginning of this, and as those next steps are being developed. Clearly, the first order of business, getting this fire out, making sure that the area is safe. So that's what we see and know from here at this point, and bring you any new information as we get it, guys.
All right, Aaron, thank you so much. Of course, standing by near this collapse and fire that's now pretty much out on I-85. We have Channel 2's Justin Wilfon and a photographer, also nearby the scene. Justin, are you there? And what can you tell us?
I am here, Jovita. We are standing right in the middle of the Buford connector, which normally this time on a Thursday night would be bustling with cars, but now, as you can see, we're the only ones here, except for these firefighters, which are right down there, just about 100 yards from us. And as Aaron was saying, these are special crews brought in from the Atlanta airport that have been spraying this foam on this collapsed section of I-85. Again, I was down there maybe 30 minutes ago now, probably just 50 feet from the collapse, and you could still feel the heat coming off of this fire. So even though they're definitely making progress, still work to be done here tonight for these fire crews. You can see some of those firefighters standing now in what looks like a mountain of foam. They've been spraying foam on this thing for the past hour or so, or close to an hour. So still a big job ahead. Traffic-wise, here on the Buford connector, they closed it down more than an hour ago now. If you look this way, if we can, Leonard, pretty much desolate. No one is here except for these fire crews and police officers who have been pushing back traffic. We actually saw when we first got here some folks driving the wrong way on the Buford connector. Safely doing it, but driving the wrong way to try to get out of here, because clearly, along with I-85, the Buford connector will not be opening anytime soon either, guys.
Okay. Justin, thank you so much. We're getting information in from our newsroom. It sounds like MARTA is saying that it will run a regular schedule tomorrow. So if you live in or near a MARTA, if you usually take a MARTA train, or if you don't, maybe this is the time that you do, because 85 is going to be shut down in both directions for a while now. They need to make sure that the rest of the bridge is structurally safe and sound before cars are allowed to start traveling over it again. We talked to the governor's office, who says that the Georgia Department of Transportation will be handling all of this and answering all of our questions. We know that Mayor Kasim Reed is also watching this very closely to see what is happening here and how this is going to impact the city of Atlanta. But right now, this is an issue that stands firmly in the hands of the Georgia Department of Transportation. We can tell you all Atlanta firefighters are safe and accounted for. Under that span of bridge, minutes, seconds probably, before it collapsed. Everyone got out okay from that area, and they are still there on the scene, as we've shown you in these two live shots just now this hour, and they are still putting out the hot spots and the rest of the smoke and the flames that's still burning. Trucks from Hartsfield Jackson also came up to this part of town to help put this out, and we saw them working just a little bit ago, spraying the entire area with foam, and there's some of the trucks standing by right now. And as Justin Wilfon just told you, the Buford Spring Connector is shut down. You cannot get on it. I-85 is shut down. You can't get on it either. So you have to find alternate routes, 75, 285, I-20. I'm not sure how you're going to get to 400 if you need to go up to 400 tonight, but it's not going to be on 85 northbound.
If we could, producers, I think it's about time. Let's take one of our screens and show the fire as it was burning intensely 90 minutes ago. And because what we're getting information now is it was clearly something very flammable, petroleum-based. When you see black smoke like that, producing the kind of heat that could melt concrete to the point that an interstate deck would collapse on itself. And there on the right side of your screen, the video burning. It's much darker now, clearly, at 8:06. On the left, your live look still as the crews are doing their work and the investigation as to what happened underway. But we understand that it was spools of PVC and copper wire, extraordinarily flammable, akin to tires. If you've ever seen a tire fire and that thick black smoke, that's what we experienced today. Atlanta Fire Department, we can't stress enough, saying that they were aware at the intensity of this fire that there was a collapse situation potential, and precisely that is what occurred. Atlanta Fire was ready for it, as were the other fire departments helping out, and no reported injuries from the fire department or otherwise tonight in what is a miraculous situation, because it is going to be a construction nightmare and a convenience nightmare, but there's been no loss of life.
Also on the phone right now, we have Homer Bryson. He's with GEMA, that's Georgia Emergency Management. Homer, what can you tell us? Does GEMA have a plan in place, or what's GEMA doing in relation to this 85 issue?
GEMA has their operations center stood up, and they're working on that now. They're pulling the bridge plan. They've got bridge inspectors en route. They're working with contractors to bring in lighting. And so they're working as quickly as they can to assess the damage. And as soon as they assess the damage, then they will be working on a plan for replacement of the bridge. This is not going to be a quick fix, and everyone needs to be aware of that. It's going to have an impact on traffic for an extended period. They're working on a traffic plan now also in conjunction with the Georgia State Patrol. And so would ask everybody to listen to the news as information regarding that comes out, and just be aware that this is going to impact traffic for a considerable amount of time.
Homer, you've probably been advised not to, but if you had to give us a guesstimate on how long something like this could take, what would you say?
I would defer to DOT on that, and I think they're going to tell you that they need to do an assessment before they're willing to give an estimate on that. I would expect it will be sometime tomorrow before they have a true assessment of all the damage.
Homer, talk us through finances here. I'm curious on something like this. It's an interstate, so can the federal government step in? Do we look at insurance money once we determine whose property that was so flammable underneath the bridge? Was it properly permitted? Is that all part of the equation here?
All of that's being considered at this point, and I'm have not been advised of all of that that was underneath the owners or any of that. So I would say at this point, the primary concern now is assessing the damage, developing a plan to get the bridge operational as soon as practical. And then the third consideration will be the financial part of that. But right now it's all hands on deck looking at assessment and a reconstruction plan. But this is an interstate, so when it comes to the management of an interstate, and it's fair enough if you don't know how to answer that right now, Homer, but is this a situation where a federal DOT plays a role? Again, I'm going to refer you to Georgia DOT on that, but I would say yes, it would be, since it is a part of the U.S. interstate system. And what about your concern, Homer, with GEMA tonight on the thousands and thousands of people stuck in their cars for hours? We know that that's unhealthy for lots of reasons. Well, again, State Patrol is working with DDOT now on how to manage that and to reroute that traffic, and they'll be looking at a diversion plan for the traffic moving forward during the construction phase of the bridge. So all of that's being worked on tonight, and we'll be communicating that to the media as soon as the plan is in place.
Does this remind you of Snowmageddon? Does it feel similar-ish?
I guess in a different sort of way. It's certainly something unique. It's very similar to an incident that occurred in South Georgia a number of years ago in Brunswick when a ship coming into the port there struck the bridge and collapsed it, and we lost a number of vehicles actually into the river. So I equate this more to that. And the fortunate thing is...
Homer, I'm sorry. I apologize for... Homer, thank you from GMA. I apologize to interrupt. Let's go to Georgia Governor Nathan Deal.
Who are trying to make the assessments and trying to do the repairs in as fast a fashion as possible.
Are you willing to sign the medical marijuana expansion bill?
Let's don't talk about legislation. We haven't finished the session. We'll do that later tonight.
All right, thank you all.
All right, Georgia Governor Nathan Deal briefly addressing the situation of the interstate collapse in Midtown Atlanta tonight. As you're seeing the first responder, the presence is obviously sizable. And as Atlanta tries to come to grips with helping those who are stuck in their cars and have been for some time now and will be for some time, and assessing what's next in terms of the investigation and how to get this main artery open within hopefully days and weeks.
Okay. So I need to let our viewers know that, of course, we know what day of the week this is. It's TGIT. It's Thursday. It's a big night in our newsroom. We have a lot of fun with our viewers on Thursday night, but guess what? We're not going to be able to show you Grey's Anatomy tonight. We're not yet sure about Scandal. That's probably going to be preempted. Grey's Anatomy is going to be on at 1:05 a.m. Go ahead and set your DVRs now. We know you're upset, but we have major breaking news here, something that's going to affect the city of Atlanta and the rest of the southeastern United States for weeks now. So we want you all to be patient with us because we know that this is a big story, and we know that you know that as well. So this is going to be a long night for us here, and it's not going to include Grey's Anatomy. We're not yet sure about Scandal, and we're not yet sure about The Catch. But we are continuing our coverage of major breaking news right now. An interstate fire on I-85 that turned into the collapse of I-85 northbound. So there are people stuck on the interstate right now, folks all over the city of Atlanta trying to get home, and it is a mess out there. We can tell you that Atlanta firefighters are okay. They were fighting the fire at the time underneath the bridge seconds before a span of it collapsed. Everyone is okay there. We know that there were PVC pipes and other material, construction materials under the bridge. We believe that's what caught fire. We don't yet know what caused this fire, how it started. Our reporters and photographers there all around the scene near Piedmont Road and Monroe Drive and the I-85 area in Midtown Atlanta have been telling us that they heard what sounded like large booms. The fire department so far telling us they're not sure what that was, but they can tell us that they were able to knock back most of the flames and that a large part of this fire was snuffed out when that span of the bridge collapsed. So we have Channel 2's Justin Wilfon.
And Jason Durden, I think, available now.
Jason Durden is live now? Okay, so let's go back to Jason Durden in News Chopper 2.
We've been talking a lot about exactly where this is, and using our new onboard mapping technology here in News Chopper 2, I could easily show you just pulling the map up here. So you see Piedmont Road kind of going from the left corner of the screen up to the right corner of the screen there, and I-85, and what's labeled as 13, that is the Buford Spring connector. So it's right by where it crosses over I-85, and you see that loop around ramp that comes around down onto Piedmont. And as I come over here, you can actually see on Monroe Drive and on Piedmont Circle some of the absolute gridlock that folks are having to deal with. This is where traffic is being diverted to as they bring it off of the Buford Spring connector. Folks that were stuck on 85 North, folks that were stuck on the Buford Spring connector North, that's what's happening now, as they're all getting pushed off onto that ramp. So they'll take them onto Piedmont. City of Atlanta has been out at a lot of these intersections here at Piedmont and Cheshire Bridge, and even up at Piedmont and Rock Springs, directing traffic through there. So this is all this Midtown traffic here that's trying to get around through there. It's going to be an absolute nightmare for a lot of folks here as they try to work their way around, and this will be throughout the evening. I mean, this is not going to be a quick fix to try to get all these cars moved out of here right now. Southbound, they have cleared it out very well coming down 85 southbound. So folks, if you're coming 85 south, get on over to 285, go to I-75 to get into town. If you're coming up out of town, town, work your way to I-75, and get up to the north side of town that way. And, of course, you can access Georgia 400 either north or south off of I-285 right now.
All right,
Channel 2's Jason Durden, and now we want to stress something. We have just been in contact with Atlanta Public Schools. Their crisis management team is meeting. They're assessing the situation. You can imagine what they've got to get through with the school buses tomorrow.
That's right.
Safely and timely getting the kids to school. So here's what we know. In about an hour, they're telling us here at WSB-TV that they'll have a decision. It's entirely possible that Atlanta Public Schools will not have school tomorrow.
So that's going to save thousands of people from having to drive and travel. So that's the point of this. So that will ease congestion around schools and around different roads, certainly in this Midtown area and everything that's connected around 85, and also keep school buses off the roads tomorrow. So that will alleviate a little bit of traffic around parts of Atlanta tomorrow. If schools close, we don't yet know. They're meeting right now. They're going to make a decision. As soon as we get that decision, we're going to bring it to you.
As you're getting a live look on the right side of your screen right now, as firefighters are doing everything that they can to get all of the hot spots taken care of so the investigation teams can get in there. What you see looking like snow, if you're just joining us, something we've never seen. The Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson International Fire Department came up in their specialized vehicles, the specialized foam that they use ostensibly for a fuel fire as a result of some sort of aviation accident. And they used that foam on this fire that was burning some sort of fiber and PVC pipe material. Those are petroleum-based products in large. Burning underneath the connector with such a heat that it brought down that portion of the I-85 decking, collapsing onto itself, and in part played a role in getting control of that fire. We've been on this for 2.5 hours now. Channel 2's continuing breaking news coverage of an interstate fire in Midtown Atlanta that has turned into an interstate collapse and a traffic nightmare.
That's right. So we want to remind you, Grey's Anatomy will be shown at 1:05 a.m. You can set your DVRs to see that, and we'll keep you posted about the rest of tonight's programming. We want to go to one of our photographers, Channel 2's Oscar Carrillo. He is in his car, stuck on traffic on I-85 southbound, coming into the city. He's near the Claremont Road exit. Oscar, what's happening where you are?
Javita, in the last probably half hour, they have not let any more traffic come down 85 southbound. I just talked to this gentleman right here in this car who just finished coming down from Shallowford. He told me they closed the interstate at Shallowford. He's been sitting in traffic about 30, 35 minutes. Every now and then you'll see a wave of cars turning around and heading northbound on the southbound of 85. And every so often, some DeKalb or state police will come rushing down on 85. I've been out here about 45 minutes. I've moved up maybe about 3/4 of a mile. I'm just north of Claremont, probably about a half mile from the Claremont exit.
Oscar, let me ask you this. You said that you're seeing very often. I'm sorry, every now and then you're seeing a DeKalb police officer or a Georgia State trooper. Are they allowing cars to turn around on 85 and get off another exit, or that's not happening at all?
Well, actually, it's been about 20 minutes since anyone's actually turned around. I'll zoom in here, and you might see a Hero vehicle. Right, this car is blocking the shot. On the far left, you see there like a Hero vehicle on the HOV lane. They may be diverting traffic at Claremont. Obviously I haven't been down there because of traffic, but I think they're diverting traffic there at Claremont. I'm gonna turn the camera around. This is, that's my car here. That's 85 southbound. So apparently they shut the interstate, as this driver was telling me a short while ago, at Shallowford.
Thanks, pal. Oscar Carrillo on scene. Oscar, appreciate that. We need to go to Governor Nathan Deal. We have some his comments from just a few moments ago, Georgia's governor, on what's happening tonight.
Let me tell you what I know at this point. We have DOT has put their inspectors in place. They have contacted the original crew the company who built the bridge in the first place, and they are sending their people to assess the extent of the damage. and we're trying to determine everything we can about how quick can we repair it and get it back in service. That's obviously the goal. I want to commend the firefighters and our state patrol and local law enforcement and emergency responders, because to my knowledge, we have not had any injuries as a result of this fire on the bridge. But it's going to take some time to get it repaired and get it back in service. So in the meantime, there will be instructions coming forth from the Department of Transportation as to alternate routes, and we will make all of that information available to the public and to the media as soon as it's known to us.
Governor, do we know the cause of the fire yet?
I do not know for sure. The speculation that I heard was that it was some PVC products that caught fire. I do not know why they did or what the source of their transport was. But those are questions that will hopefully be answered at least by tomorrow morning.
Have you got any sense as to what the minimum time frame you're talking about would be?
I do not, and I would not speculate on it at this point. But I can assure you we will do everything to expedite the repair and replacement of that section of the bridge.
All right, last question. Governor, do you know if the mortar line is intact?
I'm sorry?
Is the mortar line intact?
You know, I do not know the answer to that, Jim. Nobody has mentioned that one to me, so I do not know whether it was affected by this or not. I hope it was not.
Has the Emergency Operations Center been activated?
I'm sorry?
Has the Emergency Operations Center been activated?
I don't know that they've opened the Emergency Operations Center, because this is really a DOT issue, and it will all be primarily run out of the DOT office.
Are you willing to sign the campus sexual assault bill?
Well, let's don't get into any of that and speculate about it. I'll wait till I see what it finally looks like.
All
right, thank y'all.
Yeah, not really the environment to start asking legislation questions. Governor Nathan Deal of Georgia discussing the plan tonight, he made it very clear he wasn't going to speculate, that they are going to try to do everything they can to get this interstate open as quickly as possible.
That's right. We know that Atlanta Public Schools has an emergency team meeting right now to decide if Atlanta schools will be open or closed tomorrow. That would alleviate some traffic and certainly keep school buses off the roads tomorrow around the city of Atlanta. We want to go to Channel 2's Nefertiti Jaquez. She is live on the ground. Nef, tell us where you are and what you can see from where you are.
Hey, sorry, Javita, didn't mean to interrupt. It is very loud out here. I'm actually right beside a truck driver by the name of Tony Hartley, who is leaving the Home Depot in the area. We are actually, he got stuck here 2 hours ago. We are on the 13 South, so the Buford connector. We're about 200 feet away from where this occurred and where that bridge collapsed on 85 here. I've been talking to Tony this entire time. He has been stuck here since the moment that this fire started. He was here when it happened. He tells us that at the time he had no idea what was going on. First he thought it was a car fire, and then when the bridge actually collapsed, he said that you could feel the pavement and the interstate rather, shaking from the bottom. Now, if our chopper is up, you will be able to see us. We are safe because, again, we are on the 13 South connector, so we are still a far way back. Tony, unfortunately, was not able to turn his truck around because it is an 18-wheeler truck. He is a driver who, again, had just unloaded off some stuff at the Home Depot nearby. So he has been here. We have been here with him. He has been describing what this scene has been like. We have been trying to notify him with all of the information that we've been getting from our colleagues at WSB. He, of course, has been praying for the firefighters, is happy at this hour to learn that nobody has been seriously injured.
Okay. All right. Well, we lost Nefertiti Jaquez's audio right now. We'll get back to her as soon as we can. But we've been keeping you updated on the fire here at 85 and the collapse. Of course, our radio partner, WSB Radio, also on talking about this right now. Roads all around Midtown Atlanta are jam-packed with traffic, and the interstate is shut down right now. Let's go to Channel 2's Aaron Diamond, who has been standing nearby on a rooftop there on Piedmont Road from an apartment building. Okay, so Aaron is back down on the ground now. But Aaron, tell us what's been happening there and what you can see.
Yeah, Jovita, we had to get down off that rooftop of that, just where we were a little while ago. For safety reasons, it was getting dark, and the building manager asked that everyone take a hike. But I just wanted to give you a sense. We are on Piedmont Road right at the Interstate 85 bridge. We're just south, maybe 200 yards south of where that collapse happened. I will tell you, within the last 10 minutes, I spoke to a contact of mine with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and I'll read to you what he told me. He said the FBI has no indication that its services are needed at this time. They will be monitoring the situation, of course, but it's still too soon to tell. You know, the concern is, of course, anytime you see something like this, you know, I called the FBI because these days, with the world we're living in, you never know. But at this point, the FBI is not out here investigating this as any sort of terrorist act or deliberate act. They say it's still too soon to tell, but the agency will be, the Bureau will be monitoring the investigation. Now, as you see some of these dramatic pictures from what the scene looked like earlier, you just heard, if you missed it, we heard about 5 minutes ago from Governor Nathan Deal, who mentioned that GDOT has already contacted the crew that built this bridge, that are sending out inspectors to see what they can offer to this. Again, no first responders were injured. No people on the ground were injured. And, you know, GDOT is working right now to establish and get information out to the public about alternate routes and where things go from here, Jovita.
All right, Aaron, thank you.